1/2019. Now, in the light of your evidence now, is it normal for someone who deposes to an A1 statement that is now the complainant statement to also be an investigator of that case?
So, my lord, no. So, to maintain objectivity, you will try to separate the IO from the investigator. It's a question of objectivity, because then you become, you are the complainant and you also conducting investigation. There are instances where police officers open cases. I've done it myself, but you will do the best that you can that the investigator is not necessarily a complainant, because there will be conflict. You can imagine when the IO collects evidence on his behalf, to sort of support his narrative as the complainant. So it's a practice that is not normal.
You mentioned yesterday that you made copies of the docket in this matter, First Lord's Cast 63610 of 2014, and gave copies thereof to each member of your team. Are you aware if Warrant Officer Makhubo ever carried the original docket of 63610 of 2014?
No, my lord, he never carried that docket. When I ordered that copies must be made, I also gave a specific instruction that I will retain the original. So at no stage was the original given to any members, not only Warrant Officer Makhubo. They only had copies of the docket 636 of 10/2014. But the copies, my lord, were not made in isolation of them. In other words, it was not a situation where you come and say, here are the copies. They've had access to see the docket original when it was given to us. And then I then gave a directive to say copies will be made, and then so that one can analyze, what they see, and then we can come together to see, to pave the way forward. I do know, for example, my lord, that when copies were made for Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi, it was made in the office. I delegated one of my members who took the original there, and then she made copies herself from her office out of the originals. But the original docket was always retained by me to date, my lord. Sorry, my lord, just to qualify that, the only time the original will leave my hands is when it was sent to the DPP in Johannesburg first, when we were looking into this matter, and the DPP here in Pretoria. So those were the instances where it will go to the DPP and back to us, and DPP not Gauteng and back to me, my lord.
And when Brigadier Shibiri, hope this is correct rank, when Brigadier Shibiri was still the lead investigator, do you know if Warrant Officer Makhubo carried the original docket?
No, insofar as I know, so the correct rank, my lord, is Major General Shibiri now.
Major General,
that's his rank. Insofar as I know, Warrant Officer Makhubo was not part of that investigation team, my lord. And the original docket was under the control of both Brigadier Shibiri, General Shibiri and General Sinono, because when we did the handing over, I had to sign the receiving of what was contained in the docket from them, my lord.
Now, in cross-examination of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, Mr. Mngomezulu made the following proposition during the proceedings of 28 August 2024, page 18, regarding Warrant Officer Makhubo, and it starts at line 14. Warrant Officer Mngomezulu, Mr. Mngomezulu, let me get back into what we, as a version of Warrant Officer Makhubo. He said he was called, that is now Warrant Officer Makhubo, he said he was called to the scene. Upon his arrival, Cedric Sibia called him and asked him if he observed what has happened here, what could be his opinion. And Warrant Officer Makhubo, after he assessed the scene, he told General Sibia then and there that there are no intruders that came there. And just before that, in the first 5 lines of page 18, Mr. Mngomezulu put the proposition to Lieutenant Colonel Mangena. It says, Warrant Officer Makhubo was called by General Sibia that night. Upon his arrival, that is now upon the arrival of Warrant Officer Makhubo, General Sibia called him aside to assist him to reconstruct the crime scene and certain questions. Now, the first question to you is, what is your comment regarding this proposition that Warrant Officer Makhubo would have been called aside whilst on the scene by General Sibia and asked to reconstruct the crime scene?
So, my lord, I can't comment as to whether there was a discussion then between Warrant Officer Makhubo and General Sibia on that day. I don't know if they met and what was discussed. What I can refer to is the docket, because it's a guideline in terms of the preliminary analysis that was done on the 26th of October 2014, my lord. Now, my lord, if you take the docket into account and the facts that I'm going to mention subsequent to this, that proposition is baseless, and I'll indicate why. Now, number one, my lord, when you reconstruct a crime scene, and I'm starting there, you will require expertise, especially in this matter, because we have facts. It's not an assumption. You can look at what happened at this crime scene, the photos that were taken. There is blood, there's projectiles that was found. Logic dictates that you will expect blood splatters experts to be there, ballistic experts to be there, crime scene managers to be there. Those are experts who are qualified in the reconstruction of the crime scene. And that could not have been overlooked if you take into account the senior members of the police who were at this crime scene. Secondly, my lord, once that is done, in the docket, you would have found a statement from Warrant Officer Makhubo indicating, for example, what he has done in the reconstruction of the crime scene. In this docket that we've disclosed to the defense, there is no such statement. Secondly, there is no statement by anyone who was there, my lord, on the 26th of October 2014, indicating that Warrant Officer Makhubo was asked to reconstruct any crime scene. There is further no indication whether from Warrant Officer Makhubo or any of the witnesses who were at the crime scene, including neighbors, that says they were interviewed by Warrant Officer Makhubo. Now, my lord, the only crime scene experts that we have in this docket, for the first time on the day of the incident, you will pick up Warrant Officer Musia, who was then subsequently followed by Mutlatlo on the following day, and the ballistic experts who came. On the 26th of October 2014, there is no indication, except the local detectives, even them who were present, their statements are there. There is no indication of this assertion that I'm being told about, my lord. And based on that, my lord, I see no basis, because I'm guided by the docket. As I say, I was not there when this thing happened, but the docket does not tell me that such was done, my lord.